the West? How? Because mixed messages are coming out.
Have you have you ever gone to Las Vegas?
No.
But you know a lot. In
Yeah.
Brazil, there are casinos, right? So you know the concept of gambling,
Yeah,
and
I
you know
know.
that the odds are in favor of the house. That's why they have big buildings with fancy carpets and big chandeliers and all that kind of stuff. Because in the long run, you're not going to make money at a casino. The odds are in favor of the house. Um, when you take a look at NATO and Russia and Ukraine, and you just put everything on the table, in the long run, Russia will win this conflict 100% of the time because of all the factors that could be brought in. NATO was gambling that because I can go to Las Vegas. I can put $500 in my pocket and walk around and play the craps tables and wait till I'm up and then leave with a little bit of profit. Go there, wait till I leave. If I lose a little bit, walk away, and I can manage it. And I may get lucky enough to walk out with more money in my pocket than I came in with. But it's not going to happen a lot. It's a gamble that's going to happen. NATO gambled that they were going to be able to put all this resources into Ukraine to create this proxy that would have that would create a resource problem for Russia. They were also gambling that they could combine the military pressure with the economic pressure, that they could sanction Russia and get the economy to break. And they were gambling that the economy would cause the political will of the Russian people to collapse, and that the confluence of military defeat, economic disaster, and loss of political support would lead to Putin's demise. All right, that's like me walking into a casino and saying, I'm going to simultaneously play blackjack, roulette, and craps, and I have to win on all three, and in order to make money. It's stupid, stupid. Never was going to happen. Anybody with a head on their shoulders would have known that the sanctions were going to work. Hell, I wrote about it in December of 2021. Detailed paper said exactly what was going to happen, and you know what? Everything happened the exactly way I said it. Why? Because it had to. The reality of Russian energy and the pricing, the scope and the scope and scale of Russia's engagement with Europe, that you can't walk away from that, re-engage, and expect to make money. It was inevitable that the European economy was going to collapse because of the blowback from the Russian sanctions. What wasn't inevitable was that Russia was going to succeed to the level they did. Even I didn't predict that. What I said is that Russia would be able to manage its economic difficulties better than Europe would, that Europe would collapse before Russia collapsed. What I didn't predict is that as Europe collapses, Russia says, screw it. We're going to expand. We got this under control. Russia's thriving today. Thriving. I've been there. I'm just telling you. It's not just Moscow and St. Petersburg. It's all of Russia. It's an economic boom. It's, people are employed. They have good standards of living, quality of life, infrastructure, all the things that the West claims Russia doesn't have, they have. Yeah, they got flushing toilets too, everywhere. It's just crazy, the stupidity in the West. But we didn't predict that, but it did. On the military, there was no way this was ever going to work. First of all, understand this: that NATO is a paper tiger. They have some militaries. If you've learned anything, taking a force out of garrison. It's one thing for the Poles, for instance, to say, we have this many troops. Sure, they're all in garrison, right? And you've been working on maintaining your equipment, haven't you? And you've gone to the field a couple times, right? Now take them all out of garrison, march them, and project them 100 kilometers into Western Ukraine. And if you haven't practiced that, you're going to die, because that's a completely different game. Now you're in the field. You don't get to go back to your maintenance facility to maintain. You have to have field maintenance. Have you practiced that? Do you have the spare parts? Do you have the fuel? Do you have the ammunition? Do you have the ability to protect that line of communication? Do you have the ability to communicate amongst your troops? All the things that if you don't do, you fail. Russia's been doing it now for 2.5 years, more. They know war better than anybody. See, the Ukrainians used to know war, but this is the third time their army's been destroyed. They're creating a fourth time, and you were talking about bringing in people with no military training. You know what the Russians do better than anybody? Kill. You know what the hardest thing is to train a soldier in peacetime? To kill. There's a book called On Killing. written by, I can't remember the author, an American author. He talks about in World War II, with all the fighting, soldiers don't know how to kill and they don't want to kill. That the vast majority of people just fired their weapon and the bullets went whenever they went. Very rarely did you get a guy who actually aim and take people out. It takes a while to condition somebody to take a human life. The Russian army right now kills without hesitation, not indiscriminately, but without hesitation. They go head to head with a NATO force full of people who have never killed anybody, don't know what it's like to be shot at. It's like boxers, It's not just about you punching somebody; it's about somebody punching you. And you got to not only be able to deliver a punch, but you got to be able to take a punch. You got to know how to manage the fight. Russia knows how to manage this fight. NATO doesn't.